Welcome to a new quick hitter from Full Court. I'm Kara Kay. Our guest this week is head women's basketball coach at Colorado, Payne. We discussed her team's big win over previously number one Stanford and how this win was over a year in the making for her program and where her program's headed.
I don't know if you guys know the history of us with Stanford dating back to last season. At that time, I think they were ranked maybe 7th the first time we played them and then 8th maybe the next time. But we really felt like we should have beaten them twice last year. And two of the most heartbreaking losses came at the hands of Stanford last year on a buzzer beater and then an overtime. So, to be honest, I think, as coaches, we prepare for every single game the same, but I can guarantee our players had that game circled on their calendar, all year long. So it meant a lot to all of us to finally be able to beat them.
And you said after the game, referencing your team, I told them all there's 1,000 reasons. I'm proud of them. The way we performed today was the biggest. We just really had the right mindset going into this game. Yeah. So what do you do to get your team in that right mindset to go out and perform that way, especially against the number one team in the country?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is our preparation was really, really good. As you're growing a program, there's so many little steps that you have to take in order to even give yourself an opportunity to compete, let alone beat a team like Stanford. And there's so much that goes into that. It's not just recruit a bunch of good players. A lot of people have been able to do that, but just, really being able to focus on preparing to be successful. We never talk about beating Stanford. We talk about preparing to be successful, on Sunday afternoon when we get a chance to play them. So the coolest thing for me was that we had multiple upperclassmen that really stepped up during our days and even on game day leading into the contest, that really kind of grabbed people, and was like, these reps aren't good enough. We need to make sure we're preparing each other. Give me a great rep. Our focus is on point, or it's not where it needs to be. So to have our players begin to do that, coaches are saying it all the time, but when your players start doing that, I really felt like, okay, we're finally getting, where we need to be to compete like this.
You talked about your players. One of them that had a huge evening was Maya Hollingshed. She had 32 points, 10 rebounds, her 6th double-double of the season. Can you kind of talk about her dominance in that game and then so far this season?
Yeah, man, she was really good. It was so funny because as coaches, we're talking and I'm like, let's get her the ball here. Okay, we got to get her the ball there. Now we can isolate her in the short corner. We'll isolate her at the elbow, she was so good in so many different ways that night. And Stanford kept throwing different defenders at her. So it was like, all right, if Brink's on her, let's put her there. If Haley Jones is on her, let's put her here. Just knowing that Maya has a very versatile skill set. She can face up, she can back you down, she can shoot the three. She's got great mid-range, face up and all that stuff. So really, we were just trying to continue to feed her the basketball. And then, of course, other people stepped up while we were doing that. So yeah, she was pretty spectacular, and not just offensively, but again, her vocal presence, during timeouts. On the free throw line, things like that were pretty clutch.
So Maya's been there for 4 years, and she had said, we're not coming out of this with a loss. There are no moral victories, and that it takes putting together a full 40 minutes, which kind of alludes to what you were even saying earlier about your players picking up on it. But how has she grown and perhaps even earned moments like these?
Yeah, well, even dating back to the most heartbreaking loss against Stanford last year when they stole the ball and threw up a half-court shot and it went in and we lost. Maya, towards the end of that game, in the closing seconds, she was doing some things that a young player does, celebrating too early. She was doing this to the crowd. There was 4,000 or 5,000 people here, and just there was a lot that we learned from that ball game, as a group, but Maya in particular learned a lot, from that game. And so to hear her telling her teammates, don't celebrate, like stay locked in, focus, let's make sure we communicate, all those different things that she was talking about, is just a perfect example of the way that she's grown, during her time. Her numbers have grown, incrementally, but those are the types of things that people outside of our circle really don't see.
We hope you listen to the full conversation with Payne. You can watch video versions of all of our quick hitters on the Pure Hoops Media YouTube channel. Check out Full Court with Fisher and Kay every Tuesday from Pure Hoops Media.